I wonder, do you have any or like other instances or other examples where it's more just like on a day-to-day basis, right? Where your boss says something, your colleague says something. Maybe you've already built some trust with these people.
Yeah.
But it's just like the day-to-day pushback where maybe you're not really a pushover. Like maybe sometimes you push back, sometimes you don't. But there's still some perhaps fear, or maybe you're just a nice person. I don't know. There's some fear of pushing back. Like why is that? Why is that fear there? Like maybe, talk about that a little bit.
Look, a lot of people have a fear in pushing back because you fear that you're going to cast a doubt on your own abilities, right? So if your manager comes and tells you, hey, I need you to do X, Y, Z, this is an urgent ask and you need to get it done right now, right? Many people will just say yes because you don't want your manager or your superior to think or to cast a doubt on your own abilities, right? Others will say yes to cross-functional needs because you don't want to come across as someone who's non-collaborative or not great to work with, right? And there's always this fear of letting people down around you, right? You always want to overachieve. You want to do what's best for the company. And the easy way to do it is to just say yes. And very soon, many, many, many yeses will lead you to a place where you just don't have enough time to do the most impactful work that you were hired to do. Because now you're doing so many other people's work and just saying yes to everything. And really what I've seen, I was part of this problem, right? I had that problem. And I've actually seen in my career, women tend to have this problem more than men in general, where women will just say yes to a lot of things that I've seen men at the same level wouldn't. And so I'm generally more passionate about actually training women to just know that it's okay to say no. It's okay to ask why. It is your career, and if you're not on the driver's seat of your career, no one's going to lead you to where you want to go, right?
Sure.
So it's absolutely okay to ask why. There's just an art of doing it, so you don't come across as someone who's hard to work with, right?
Yeah, can I push back on that idea actually?
Yeah.
So when I look back at my career, so I was a recruiter for a few years, managed a small team, and at least when I was starting out for the first year or two, I remember that my biggest opportunities and times where I felt like I leveled up came from me saying yes a lot, right? So that phone call would come in, I was late in the office, and I would be the first person to pick it up and say, yes, I will work with this client because why not, right?
Yeah.
Even though it was more work. Or when a colleague would need help, I would say, yes, I will help you. And that helped me build my trust and credibility. So from one perspective, it seems like saying yes and helping people and sort of building trust and saying yes to opportunities could actually help you really progress in your job. And I think that's what probably a lot of people feel, and that's how I felt at the time. What am I missing there?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, it makes sense to say yes if you actually think it's going to help you in your career. Taking that extra client call is going to help you build credibility. Absolutely say yes. Doing that extra work that your manager puts on you is going to help you build trust with your manager. Absolutely say yes. But doing that extra work because your manager thinks it's urgent, but you have 10 other things that are super important as well, and it's going to jeopardize that, say no, right? Because it's going to jeopardize the 10 other things that are absolutely critical for your success.
That's a good example. Just the last thing you just said. So walk me through that. How would you do that? So you've got a bunch of stuff that you need to prioritize, and then your boss comes in and says, or whatever, it's a Zoom call or Slack message, and say, hey, can you please do this? And there's not too much context. What is the first thing that you could do in that situation?
Ask why. And it's okay to ask why. Hey, I understand that you need this, it's urgent. What are we trying to do here? Right? If a good manager should ideally always give context, but it's not always the case, right? So it's okay to ask for a quick context, to say, hey, is this urgent? How urgent is it? Why are we doing this? I have these 5 things that I'm working on. Is it okay to deprioritize these 2 things so that I can get you this? Right? And in that case, you're not working against the manager. You're really not pushing back on the manager. You're working with the manager to say, is it okay to deprioritize these two things so I can get this done? Right? And, think about it as the problem of scope and effort, right? And then impact, right? So it's all about ruthless prioritization. And if someone, and you're doing prioritization on a daily basis to say, I have these 8-10 hours a day that I want to work on, and I'm going to work on these 5-6 things. If someone comes and jeopardizes your target to say, okay, instead of these 5-6 things, can you do these 2 things? It's very important for you to know that if you do these 2 things, either you work extended hours and get that out, or you're actually going to give up on something. And it's very important to be able to communicate that with your manager so that you can have a more collaborative conversation around it.
Yeah, that makes sense.